Okay, as you finish up 5.8 and you move on into the review assignments, there are, if you look over here, there are 3 review assignments in Chapter 5. Right there. These 3. Look, it says the procedural review, the non-graphing calculator review, and the graphing calculator review. You're going to have 3 tests over Chapter 5. The non-graphing and the graphing you're familiar with. It's just going to be like they've always been. There's one where you're doing algebra without a graphing calculator, one where you're doing algebra with a graphing calculator. Okay, the procedural one is different. We're going to start doing these for a few chapters because they fit in with the content stuff we're doing. Okay, I want to see phones away, please. Those all away. Here's what this procedural review looks like. There is no math to do on this at all. You don't do any algebra. All this is, if we look at this, they're just, well, I mean, kind of, pull downs and multiple choice, but what you're doing, I guess I need to have, let's see, I need this guy. Yeah.
You just pull up the keyboard up top.
Oh, there it is, good. Perfect. Okay, so here's what this is. Now look at these questions. There are things that you're gonna look at these and study them a little bit, and then you're gonna make a determination based on what the equation is. For example, what should I do first? This is important. This is a huge part of algebra, is being able to understand the procedures rather than just the algebra. So on this first one, can everybody see that? Do I need to make it bigger? A little bigger? Okay. So 3x squared minus 7x equals 0. What do we do first? These are our choices. I could divide both sides by a factor, and then I just write what I'm dividing both sides by. I could apply the quadratic formula, if that's the first thing, if that's the easiest thing to do, and then I would just write QDF in this blank. It says enter QDF in the next field. I could add some stuff to both sides, positive or negative. Adding a negative is like subtracting, right? And then I'd have to say, what is it that I'm adding or subtracting, right? Multiply both sides by the factor, whatever I would put in there. Square root both sides means I enter SQR in that blank. Or I could factor the left side, enter FAC. Well, what should I do? No, it would work, but it's definitely not the easiest. No, I can't square root because I can't isolate an x.
Divide. Factor.
Factor. Yeah. I would definitely factor because, look, I could factor an x out of these two, and I want you guys to see why this is so easy to do. This is a factoring problem where factoring is so much easier than the alternatives. Look at this. If I take this equation right here, 3x squared minus 7x equals 0, and if I factor out or undistribute an x, look what we get. 3x minus 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and everybody pay attention to this. This is huge. If you get this, this is the kind of stuff you have to know in Chapter 5. Now look, I've got this broken into these two factors. The product of two factors equals 0 when the factors equal 0. Zero product property, right? So I get one answer is x equals 0. Or the other answer is 3x minus 7 equals 0, which means x is just 7/3 if I add 7 and divide by 3, right? Easy. How simple is that? How did we know to do that? Because I had x's in both terms. So I can just factor out an x and I'm practically done. Much easier than any of the alternatives, right? So there's an example where what we would definitely do is factor, and then here I would just put in FAC and check.
So we just gotta type in that thing and then tell the job.
Yep, right, exactly. Okay, now what about the next one? Take a look at the next one. I'm not going to do all of these, but I want you just to kind of see. I want to illustrate the kinds of things you're thinking about here. What would I do with that one? 12x squared plus 6x minus 9 equals 0.
Okay.
To solve for x, what's the first thing you would do? Divide by 3. Absolutely. Because 3 goes into all those numbers, right? Okay, so look what happens if I divide by 3. It doesn't ask you to do the algebra, but I want you to see why that's so useful. if I've got 12x squared plus 6x minus 9 equals 0, just divide both sides by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. I get much smaller numbers to deal with. And now I'm going to probably do the quadratic formula, but at least I'm putting in small numbers instead of big numbers, right? And so there's no question. The best thing to do there is definitely to trim that thing down by dividing through by 3, because all the numbers are divisible by 3. That is the correct answer there. It's really not open for discussion. There are other things you could do, but that's not what I care about. I want the best answer. What's the easiest way to do the problem? That's how I want you thinking about this. Okay? What about this guy here? Enter the number corresponding to the easiest and most efficient way of solving the following equation. Negative 18x squared plus 24 equals 14. Well, what am I probably going to do there? If I were going to solve that, wouldn't I have to get it all equal to 0? Right? And then it looks like a mess, doesn't it? Right? I would end up with negative 18x squared. Oh, hang on. No, that's plus. There's no x there, is there? Whoops. There's no x. So this isn't. All I have is a single x, right? What do I do always if there's a single x? Isolate. Isolate x. I put a 1 in there, right? Make sense? Okay, there's one more I'll just show you real quick, and then we'll get out of here. What if you get one like... This one's always a little bit strange. People have a hard time with this. Like this guy, like number 8. Okay, what would you do with number 8? What would I do to that problem? First step I would do if I wanted to solve it. Okay, I got to combine like terms, right? Which means I have to get it all equal to 0, correct? So to get it equal to 0, how do I get rid of this stuff from the right side?
Add x and add 7.
Good. I'm going to add x and add 7. So then what would my choice be? I would add to both sides the terms, and then over here I would just write, go away. Over here I would just write x plus 7, right? X plus 7. Does that make sense? That's what they're looking for. Okay?
Okay.
Make sense? Okay, I think we're set.